Good evening, and then good evening to our cherished listeners. First and foremost, what I stated in respect to the three individuals you just mentioned is not an allegation, but matters of fact. One, we are all aware that the period within which these wanton criminality occur, a criminality that involves a belt of individuals. We all know that it happened in the previous government. In fact, the board chairman, Honorable Alex Afenyo Markins, have actually made a public confession as a board chairman, taking responsibility to tell the public that he was all aware about questionable procurement practices for which his superintendent oversaw as a board chairman. At the same time, ECG at the time had a managing director who is Dubik Mahama. Within the same period, Honorable Matthew Opoku Pempe was the minister in charge of energy, under which ministry ECG is situated. Is it not a matter of fact that given the state of this matter and the seriousness that it deserves, that a board chairman now want to run away and sacrifice, persons who cannot come out and defend themselves, saying that he knew that there were some questionable procurement practices which involved these same containers, and that he's running away from responsibility and now calling on Parliament to support the minister? Is it not in the interest of the state for Afenyo Markins to be arrested? Now Parliament is on recess. He cannot run away to Parliament under the disguise of performing parliamentary duties. He should be arrested immediately for questioning, because this criminality occurred under his tenure as a board chairman. Quite apart from that, in his own public confessions, these confessions are things that should be made on a docket, because these are material facts. A board chairman is saying that I knew that something was wrong, ECG, at the time I was a board chairman, but yet I kept quiet until the entire country has been shortchanged. We all know the implications of mismanagement at ECG. One, you, the journalist, myself, the poor taxpayer, would have had to buy power at a higher cost because some individuals are stealing. Number two, the current doomsday which we are facing, I have said, is not scientific. It's a sabotage from within. And clearly, these are some of the things that brings the debts that we have at ECG currently. A board chairman says, I knew about it. I even questioned the procurement, manager director. And he says, and then you kept quiet, you sat on it, you looked over it, you midwifed it, and today, because it is a crime, the public is talking about it, we should make it normal. We should sing, songs to it. We should speak about it in the media. The perpetrators go scot-free. The big politicians who are behind these things should escape the judgment. I am calling for an immediate arrest of Afenyo Markins. I am calling for the immediate arrest of Matthew Opoku Pempe, Honorable, the former running mate of the MPP. And I'm also calling for the immediate arrest of Mahama Dubik, who are principal actors at the time these things occurred. They should be arrested. And you see, it's time we hold persons and individuals highly responsible. We cannot continue to country where we talk every day and we do little. The repercussions of these things are affecting generations, affecting our children, affecting our future. When President Mahama promised that he will reset the nation, these are some of the evil that we have to be confronted with, and we must deal with it head on. It's time to step politics aside and deal with people. If this had happened in GES, a headmaster would have been held responsible. If it had happened in a private bank, the board chairman would have been answering questions at BNI. I expect that immediately we return. Afenyo Markins should be under arrest. Dubik Mahama should be under arrest. And then Matthew Opoku Pemba, who is the minister who was supposed to supervise all these things, should take some responsibility for where we have come to. I think that is unfair to treat our nation like this. And every day, what we do is to sit on the media and talk about it. And then it ends up nothing. You know?
I see, but are you not going ahead of yourself or even the law if you say these persons must be arrested? Because I struggle to understand the role they played in this whole saga just because you say that they were the principal actors and in fact point to Alexander Afenyo Markins that he's made a public statement to say that he was aware of this. But if he is aware of this, is it any form of culpability for which reason he should be arrested and put behind bars?
Well, he was a board chairman who was supposed to, as it were, to be the headmaster of ECG. And that he comes to this country in terms of law, even in terms of leadership, some element of responsibility. And these are matters of crime that one would have to be vicariously responsible. He had actually come to make a public confession to say that even before the investigation goes further, he as a board chairman was aware that there was something wrong in ECG as far as procurement is concerned. And these are procurement. He also indicated that it occurred with a coalition of persons within customs and GPHs. So don't you think that he's a principal, actor who is supposed to be facing investigation by this time as a board chairman to give leads so that the country can take people within ECG responsible for these heinous, barbaric, uncivilized crimes that affects life and affects the generations, affects children, because when life goes out, children who are in hospitals under oxygen, they die. Persons who are under, some sort of, medications and treatment, persons who are under oxygen, older people, they all die because there's no light. All because some individuals who are stealing unquestionably from ECG think that they should continue to steal. And that the board chairman, at the time he was a board chairman, was aware that there was something wrong, but yet kept quiet. They lost the election. If investigative bodies under the minister, Honorable John Dinapo, had not unraveled these crimes and made it public that there was some wrong happening within ECG at the port, will Afenyo Markins come out to tell the public about what he said? He would have kept quiet. Is it not covering of the same crimes we have talked about? I have told you that, look, Afenyo Markins' noise is not in the genuine interest of this country, but all attempt to cover up the crimes committed and perpetrated by the previous government. Didn't you see that recently Afenyo Markins is the darling boy of President Akufo-Addo, and individuals who took part in the PBS scandal, which we are yet to get to? Can't you see that all of a sudden Afenyo Markins is the hero of President Akufo-Addo because he has decided to be noisy in Parliament just to cover up for persons who have committed crimes against this country? And now he has made a public confession about some crimes that he knows, and he should still be walking free. He should not be walking free. We don't need an angel to arrest Afenyo Markins at this time. We don't. Parliament is on recess. He should be arrested to provide or to lead the investigation for us to get to know how come this number of containers paid for with taxpayers' money got missing at the port, that he, the board chairman, didn't have the responsibility to inquire and to ask the management of ECG to report to him about the status of containers and orders that have been made by ECG? Don't you think you would only have to be an irresponsible board chairman to allow this to happen?
But you keep referring to Alexander Afenyo Markins, and that's a public commentary that he's made. But does the party have any real evidence beyond reasonable doubt that these three persons you are referring to have a hand in the underdealings?
Well, there is no evidence that is stronger than what a man confesses and says. The man has told you.
But he didn't say what he's done. He just said that he was aware, and being aware, he could just be invited for questioning. But to say,
the board chairman, the board chairman of City FM, you think that when you send two journalists to the north, and 1 week they were supposed to spend a week and they are not back after 2 weeks, your board chairman would not ask what is keeping those journalists? You think your board chairman will not ask the managing director what is happening to the journalists that we send to the north? Do you think so? Do you need any other evidence more than confessions, statements of individuals who are prime actors within the institution that these have happened? Do you need anything more than that?
But that amounts to questioning, not necessarily an arrest.
No, it doesn't amount to question. That question is not, left for journalists. That question is that answer should be given on a docket. It should be a caution statement. Afenyo Markins should be given statement to investigative bodies at this time because he's a principal actor, a supervisor of ECG at the time these crimes occurred. You see, often when things happen, we let the powerful individual go scot-free, and we go after the grassroots that they use to perpetrate these crimes. Why are you investigating a Chinese man who, with the collusion of Ghanaians, and it would not have happened without the involvement of high-ranking managers at ECG, committing these crimes without the managing director, without the board chairman at this time, immediately arrested to answer questions for these, irresponsible supervision of the institution. I mean, at the end of the day, don't you think that you and I, we are paying high cost of electricity? Even that, look at the state of our electricity now, today. Not because government upon government are not investing to stabilize our power issue or power crisis, but because individuals take deliberate steps to mismanage the institution, individuals take deliberate steps to steal from the institution, and that the taxpayer, the ordinary poor Ghanaian, should continue to suffer every year, every time, under the disguise that we politicize the issues, we talk about it, and the big fishes are let off the hook to walk. It shouldn't be allowed to continue.
Have you triggered any action with the investigative bodies or law enforcement agencies to have these people hauled? If you are very much convinced,
I'm very hopeful that after this holiday, and also because Parliament is on recess, all effort will be made to get Afenyo Markins, arrested.
Why didn't it come earlier?
I'm just saying this is the issue today. The issue just started, isn't it? And the man has come to make, self-confessions. And so we all now know, and the public now know, that at the time this crime was being committed, it didn't just reflect at the sight of the board chairman. He also questioned and didn't get reasonable answers, but elected to be quiet and to conceal that conversation, even as the crime or the crimes within ECG continued, leading to loss of huge sums of money. Today, he said so on the floor of Parliament. And such an individual should be arrested because he is not just a spectator, but he is the headmaster and supervisor of ECG at the time all these things occurred under President Akufo-Addo. Afenyo Markins and Honorable is the board chairman of ECG who have come to speak on the matter. And that matter for me is closer to giving testimony of the confession. And he should be arrested.
So when should we expect this action that you are going to take, and which of the investigative bodies are going to launch?
I am not going to be the arresting body, but every effort will be made to ensure that the promise that was made to the people of Ghana, that their belief that a certain group of individuals, our own brothers, have chosen to cut this country into pieces to their advantage and personal use and benefit, other than the public interest, will bring those people to book. Every effort to be made to, fulfill that mandate upon which Ghanaians voted for the NDC to come to power. We must walk the talk, because something indeed is fundamentally wrong. When we said to you that President Akufo-Addo was supervising the biggest scandalous government against the people of Ghana, these are the things we were talking about. When we said under President Akufo-Addo, crime was normalized, mismanagement was normalized, corruption became a king of the government, these are the things we're talking about. These are evidences. And that a bold step must be made. And Ghanaians should support President Mahama to bring every one of these persons to book. We must tackle corruption head on. We must disincentivize public stealing. We must discourage politicians from stealing from the ordinary Ghanaian. Other than that, the future of your country, the future of your children cannot be guaranteed. And this is one of such issues that the nation must be serious about it. All and sundry must support the investigating institutions to bring the big fishes to book. Why is the managing director still working free? Why should Dubik be working free at this time? And this is not just the rush at ECG. There are many more, and as the day goes, you will get to know.
We wait to see. Thank you very much. That's Mustafa Gbande. He's Deputy Director of Operations at the Jubilee House and also Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. This is